So you're selling your home. That's awesome. But then there's the contract. You know, that giant stack of paper that can feel, well, a little overwhelming. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the residential contract of purchase. We're breaking it down specifically for you, the seller, so you can feel totally confident when it's time to sign.
Look, this thing isn't just a bunch of legal jargon. It's the playbook for one of the biggest deals of your life. It spells out your rights, your responsibilities, and most importantly, it protects you. So let's really dig in and see what it all means.
All right, let's start at the very beginning with the foundation of the whole agreement. These are the absolute basics, the who, what, and where, that everything else is built on top of. It all starts out simple enough. The very first part of the contract is just about identifying who's who. That means you, the seller, and the person buying your home, the purchaser. It also lists the real estate agents involved. Simple, right? Everybody knows their role from the get-go. Okay, next up, what exactly are you selling? The contract nails this down perfectly. It's not just the street address. It includes the formal legal description of the property. This just makes sure there's zero confusion about the specific piece of real estate that's changing hands. Now, this is a big one, and it trips a lot of people up. What stays with the house? We call these fixtures. Basically, anything that's physically attached. So unless you specifically write it down as an exclusion, things like your dishwasher, ceiling fans, and even the shrubs are all part of the sale. So if you want to take that beautiful chandelier your grandmother gave you, you have to say so in the contract before you sign.
All right, now for the part you've probably been waiting for. Let's talk about the money. This next section is all about the financial side of the deal, following that money trail from start to finish. And here it is, the big number, the headliner. The purchase price is simply the total amount the buyer is agreeing to pay you for your home. It's the starting point for pretty much everything else.
So you've agreed on a price, which is great, but can the buyer actually get the money? This is where the financing section becomes your best friend. The contract puts the buyer on a clock. They've usually got 5 business days to apply for their loan, and they have to actively work on getting it. And this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It is a contractual obligation. And this right here, this is your escape hatch. The contract puts a hard deadline for the buyer to show you proof they have the loan. That's the commitment letter. If they blow past that date and go silent, you have the right to walk away. This is so important because it keeps you from being tied up for weeks with a buyer who can't actually buy. Now, you might see this term pop up, seller concessions. All this means is an amount of money that you, the seller, agree to kick in to help the buyer with their closing costs. It's a pretty common bargaining chip, and it'll always be spelled out very clearly in the contract. The deposit, sometimes called earnest money, is the buyer's skin in the game. It's proof that they're serious. And here's the key part for you. If the buyer just decides to walk away and break the contract for no good reason, you make it to keep that deposit for your trouble. Okay, the money part is sorted out. Now we're moving on to the actual house itself, its physical condition. This part of the contract is all about inspections and what you're responsible for. The dreaded pest inspection. I get this question all the time. What happens if the inspector comes back and says they found termites or other wood-destroying insects? Don't panic. The contract has a plan for this. So what are you on the hook for? Well, first you have to give the buyer a recent report. If that report shows there's an active problem, it's your job to pay for the treatment. And if there's any damage from those little critters, you're also responsible for paying to fix it. Now, the good news is you're not writing a blank check. For certain kinds of required repairs, like issues with the title or the well, the contract has a built-in limit. It's usually $1,000. Think of this as your financial safety net. It's the most you have to spend on these specific problems unless you both agree to a different number. So, what shape does the house need to be in when you hand over the keys? The standard is broom clean. That means you've got to clear everything out and give it a good sweep. You also promise to deliver it in pretty much the same condition it was in when the contract was signed, aside from normal wear and tear. All right, we are in the home stretch. We're almost there. This last section covers all the legal stuff involved in actually transferring ownership. You might hear it called settlement or closing. At the closing table, you're going to sign a really important document called a general warranty deed. Don't let the name scare you. This is basically your ultimate legal promise. You are guaranteeing or warranting that you really own the property and that the title you're giving the buyer is clean, with no hidden surprises or claims against it. Your job when it comes to the title is pretty clear-cut.
You have to show up with that general warranty deed. You have to fix any solvable problems that pop up with the title search. And you have to sign a paper saying that any recent work on the house has been paid for, so no contractor can come back later and put a lien on it.
Okay, the closing table. Who pays for what? It can get a little confusing, right? Well, here's how it usually breaks down. As the seller, you're typically on the hook for things like preparing the deed, paying a transfer tax called the grantor's tax, and of course the real estate commission.
Okay, listen up, because this is a really big one. Until the absolute final moment that settlement is done and dusted, you are responsible for the house. If a pipe bursts or a tree falls on the roof the night before closing, that's still your problem. This is exactly why keeping your homeowner's insurance active all the way through closing is absolutely non-negotiable. Before we wrap this up, I have to give you one final, and I mean critical, warning. This is about protecting the money you're about to receive from the sale of your home. Wire fraud is a massive problem. Scammers are out there, and they are experts at tricking people into wiring money to the wrong account. So please, always confirm wiring instructions by picking up the phone and calling the settlement company. Use a number you looked up yourself, not one from an email. And if you get a last-minute email saying the instructions have changed, be extremely suspicious. One phone call can literally save you from losing everything. And there you have it, that big, intimidating legal document. It's really just a roadmap. It's designed to guide both you and the buyer from the first offer all the way to the closing table, making sure everything is fair and smooth. Understanding it is your key to a great sale. So, what part of this whole process do you think is the most confusing for people?